أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم عما يتساءلون عن النبأ الذي هم فيه مختلفون كلا سيعلمون ثم كلا سيعلمون ألم نجعل الأرض مهادا والجبال أوتادا صدق الله العلي العظيم. Lecture number 20 for ninth class, and I was classifying human being into phylum, class, family, order, genus, and species. Today I am going to classify the pea plant. Pea plant. You know binomial nomenclature? Now you know, because you have listened a lot about binomial nomenclature. And what is the binomial nomenclature? Binomial nomenclature is the nomenclature in which you will consider the genus name and the species name. So scientific name of the pea plant is the Pisum stivum. Pisum stivum, Pisum sati stivum, VUM. So I am talking about this plant, the scientific name, which is the Pisum stivum. And Pisum stivum is so important. Reason is that because I am comparing two classifications. One is the classification of the human body, one is the classification of the Pisum stivum. Normally pea plant we used in the science, in the biology, just because the Mendel made two laws, law of segregation, law of independent assortment, and all these laws were based upon the Pisum stivum. Pisum stivum genetically is so important plant that this plant was given us very precious information. What are the genes, where the genes are situated, and genes are the length of the DNA, how the genes carry characters, how the genes are in the form of the pairs, and these all characters are being told by the Pisum stivum knowledge. And who did this experiment? Gregor Mendel did this experiment. And two significant laws. Did you remember I was talking that the classification was modified by Margulis and Schwartz, and we were not admitting the classification of the Robert Whittaker. The Robert Whittaker classification we were not admitting. Reason is that because that was not being used, the genetic knowledge was not being used, the genes knowledge was not being used, and the law of segregation, law of independent assortment about the DNA was not being used. These all knowledges, how genes exist, how genes transmit from parent to offspring, how genes change their characters, how genes are recessive, how genes are dominant, how genes carry different type of the diseases in our body, how genes can cure the problem, how gene can be used in genetic engineering, how genes can develop the sexes in the male or females. These all characters by the genes were being identified by studying this plant. Pisum stivum, you will study in 10th class almost 10 main characters due to which the Gregor Mendel selected this plant as a part of this experiment on the genetics. So this is a revolutionary science. After that, the all scenario of biological knowledge dimension was changed. Earlier we were thinking about evolution, earlier we were thinking about simple things in the organelles. Now after that, the scientists start thinking about the genes, about the chromosomes, about the hereditary natures, about changing the DNA. If currently we are able to produce many food, we are able to cure many disease, if we are able to assess that individuals will be born in the future with which defects, even in medical science, during pregnancy status, the scientists are able to tell the sexes will be male or female, about the sex chromosomes, about the sex chromosome disease. This all credit goes to Gregor Mendel and this plant Pisum stivum, because Pisum stivum has some characters due to which scientists studied, the Mendel studied, and then pointed out those informations, which informations we did not know early. After this, I think total change of scenario. If you are asking the question, sir, why genetic engineering is important, so I will say genetic engineering was important after Mendelssohn's knowledge, because in that time the karyotype, mean arrangement of the chromosome, and the genes which are the part of the DNA. You are going to study these lectures in details in the 10th class, especially because DNA and the chromosomes will be related there. Now I am talking about the pea plant. Why I spoke this detail about the pea plant? You may be thinking, sir, you are giving importance to human body, acknowledgeable reason, we are humans, and you classified humans. You earlier also classified humans, that is okay, but along with you are comparing the human classification with the pea plant. Why you are comparing the human classification with the pea plant? What is the character of the pea plant? You are resembling just like just after human being, in spite of classification of any other animal, in spite of classification of any other living thing, you are giving second importance to pea plant in our book. The author gave importance to pea plant. I told you genetic knowledge was based upon pea plant. After that, if we are able to treat the diseases of the bacteria by studying the DNA, and knowledge was being drawn from the pea plant, Pisum stivum. Okay, we will go back to the simple knowledge. Simple knowledge is very easy, because you know, first of all will be the kingdom, the largest taxon. What are the taxa? Different steps. The different steps which are present in the classification from the kingdom to the species. Those steps are called as taxons, and this is the first taxon. Palante is the first taxon, kingdom Palante. I speak the taxon first of all, and then we will go to the classification, and then I will compare with the classification of the human being, because we have already studied the classification of the human being. I will tell you once again, what is the kingdom? What is the kingdom of Pisum stivum? Pisum stivum. First of all, this name is need to be discussed. The Pisum stivum. Pisum is the genus, stivum is the species, and we are following which nomenclature? You remember, binomial nomenclature. Which scientist introduced the binomial nomenclature? The Carolus Linnaeus, Carolus Linnaeus. Carolus Linnaeus introduced the binomial nomenclature. The Pisum is the species, the stivum is the Pisum in the genus, and the stivum is the species. Now this is the P classification. First of all, we need to speak the taxons one by one, from largest taxon to smallest taxon. One is the largest taxon, will be the kingdom. Then what the word I told you? PCO, judge. Okay, I will follow. P mean phylum, then C PCO, understand? PCO. C class, O order, then family, then genus, then species. If you see, Palante is the kingdom. This is the first taxon of the pea plant. Then Magnoliophyta. This is the Magnoliophyta, visible? Clearly visible, because I have magnified here. No need to even use the pointer, because second one after Palante. P is the plant name, common plant name. Sir, P is the name. What is the Pisum stivum? Pisum stivum is also pea plant. What is the difference between pea plant and the Pisum stivum? Because Pisum stivum is the biological name, of the pea plant. We go back to the Magnoliophyta. That is the phylum. Magnoliopsida class. Fables. You have to remember this, because these two classifications are the parts of your syllabus in federal board as well. Fables, F-A-B-A-L-E-S, fables. Phylum, class, order. Phylum, class, order. Fabaceae. Family normally started with 3 alphabets, E, A, E, and E, A is written, and that is the Fabaceae. Fabaceae is the family. Now go back to Pisum. The Pisum, the P-I-S-U-M, the Pisum is the genus. And Pisum stivum, once again he is doing the mistake, because in the last he is writing the full name, Pisum stivum. He should not write full name. Reason is that because that is the species. Species name is stivum. Pisum is the genus, and if you want to write in combined fashion, it means you are writing the binomial nomenclature, biological name of the pea plant. But in classification you will write stivum only, because species is the smallest and the last taxons. Now we need to compare this classification with the human body. Of course, I will tell you human body. First one, Animalia. What is the Animalia? Kingdom Animalia. The kingdom Animalia. What is the phylum? Phylum is the chordata. Phylum is the chordata. You are watching phylum chordata. I told you there are two bigger groups of the animal. One is the chordates, one is the invertebrates, and the human beings are more developed. And then mammalia. Mammalia. You know, the developed group of the chordates are the mammals, and the developed group of the mammals is primates. Now, taxons wise, I will speak. Taxons wise, I will speak. The kingdom Animalia, the phylum chordata, the class Mammalia, and then order primates, family Hominidae. You may forget Hominidae, but you will remember by Homo, because Homo is the genus and the family also name start from similar name, Hominidae. And what is the genus name? Homo. And once again the species name is the sapien, S-A-P-I-E-N, sapien. So these two names, classification, taxons, you have to remember, my sons. These are very important. The kingdom Plantae, the phylum, then the class, then the order, then the family, then the genus, then the species. And if you are going to remember these two will be part of your syllabus in the federal board. And of course, if taxons wise you will remember. So two living things. One is a human body, one is a pea plant. Scientific name of the pea plant is a Pisum stivum. Scientific name of the human being is a Scientific name of the human being is a Homo sapien. Scientific name of the pea plant is a Pisum stivum. So classification once again, Homo sapien. These two names are written. One is a Homo sapien, one is a Pisum stivum. One is a Pisum stivum, one is a Homo sapien. So Homo sapien is a biological name of the human being, and the Pisum stivum is the biological name of the pea plant. One is a genus, one is a species. We have to follow the binomial nomenclature, and binomial nomenclature is that one will be genus name, one will be species name. So genus name, species name, I am going to tell once again. Homo is the genus in this case, the sapien is the species, and Pisum is the genus, and the stivum is a species. Is that visible in the screen? Yes, it is clearly visible. Pisum is the genus, stivum is the species, Homo is the genus, sapien is a species. So these two living things are being classified according to binomial nomenclature. And who introduced the binomial nomenclature? Carolus Linnaeus. One slide in the next lecture I will show you. Yes, I can show you now. Starfish. What is the starfish? It has the 5 arms. It is not technically fish, it is invertebrate. Starfish has a power of regeneration. What is the quality of regeneration? When one arm is removed, a new arm will be formed automatically. This power of the living thing is called regeneration. So the starfish also was being classified in the kingdom Animalia. So kingdom Animalia example, another example is starfish. Thank you very much. This was lecture number 20. I am coming very soon with a lecture number 21.